There's always something heroic and romantic about taking a stand against the powers that be. Take Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, who embraced the title Sanctuary City despite President Trump's threats to cut off his federal funding. Hancock is the type of mayor who would be portrayed saintly in movies or TV series, likely played by Martin Sheen. In such fictions, consequences are ignored, even as they're played out tragically in real life. On February 7th, illegal immigrant Ever Valles robbed and murdered Timothy Cruz at a train station. 19-year-old Valles was freed from the county jail despite ICE agents pleading that he be kept behind bars while he awaits deportation because of his gang ties. Immigration agents asked to be told when he'd be released. The cops did so, but apparently only 30 minutes before letting him go. So off he went, free in a sanctuary city, and that may have cost a 32-year-old man his life. It's the great deception in modern culture. Bad things call for noble names to cloak their evil outcomes. Sanctuary City, a heartwarming title that sounds like an oasis for the innocent, except for an innocent man waiting for a train. The Denver mayor once said,
"If being a sanctuary city means that we value taking care of one another and welcoming refugees and immigrants, then I welcome the title."
Too bad that the murdered Mr. Cruz isn't alive to tearfully applaud that sanctimonious blather. So, Dana, this story is an interesting one because you're in a sanctuary city, and because of that, it's about cooperation. No one is cooperating because they don't know what to do. They don't know whether they should follow the law or not. When do they turn somebody over? When do they not turn somebody over?
So Denver is a place where, you know, I have a great affection for. My mom, my sister, and my dad all live there. I have friends and family there. That was a city that was great for me growing up, and I want it to be safe and prosperous. So I read all of these articles today, and it's pretty clear that there's so much confusion between the local government and the federal government. And it seems to me that that actually could be fixed. It could be fixed under the Trump administration. One thing that the president has the power, more power than anyone else, is the power to convene. And I would get the U.S. Conference of Mayors into the White House right away with the new Secretary of Homeland Security, General Kelly, and say, we have got to work this out, because Denver might say, well, look, we gave you a 30 minutes heads up.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the traffic in Denver is so bad. I'm not saying, I don't know where the buildings are located, but 30 minutes does not seem sufficient. That actually almost seems like they were taunting ICE agents.
Yeah. Eric, this is another instance where it's a wholly preventable murder. You can't prevent a lot of murders, but this was something you could have.
Sure. And I think let's put it this way. The mayor of Miami talking about what he's done, and really what it comes down to is money. It's a function of money. So will the sanctuary city decide to stay a sanctuary city and risk federal funding on a whole slew of programs that the Fed send to these cities? Or will they say, you know what, we're going to abide by the federal law and get money for holding some of these prisoners? These people are caught. They've committed a crime. They're being held, and if they're sanctuary city, they don't get paid. They don't get paid. They don't get reimbursed by the feds to pay for the cost of incarceration. But if they say, we'll trade information with you, if you want them, you take them, then they get paid. So I think Miami has the right idea. Eventually, as these cities get more and more strapped for money, more and more, and if the the Trump administration were smart, what they would do is they would hold back some of these funds to sanctuary cities. They'll get everyone to jump on board.
Yeah. Kimberly, this is also happening in New York. At Rikers Island, Mayor de Blasio, they released an illegal alien gang member from MS-13, which is basically the ISIS of gangs.
It really is. It's one of the most notorious gangs. They have a tremendous amount of numbers of people that have pledged allegiance to them. They specialize in drug trafficking and violent crime. They are feared even in the prison gang communities. They are really just amongst the worst of the worst. And I can tell you this because they have ties too in Los Angeles and all over the country, an incredibly involved criminal network. And they specialize in recruiting and getting people. So you have people that come in that are illegal immigrants and they are looking for somewhere to belong, and the gangs seek them out, prey upon them, and recruit them in. And it is a vicious cycle of violence and criminality, and we are only encouraging it by not upholding the rule of law here. And that's all that President Trump is trying to do, is say, apply the rule of law that is on the books, that was on the books when President Obama was in, and let's do it.
Isn't that really what it is? It's about having a system. Because there's no system or people aren't enforcing a system, you have chaos. People don't know what to do.
This is a tragic incident. Never should have happened. But then again, how many Italians and Irish were let in through Ellis Island who were never vetted, who went out and committed crimes and started organized crime?
Well, we didn't have the threat of radical Islamic terrorism and jihadist movement coming into the
getting shot with a machine gun makes a big difference, right?
And there was a
look,
vetting
the point is that every day in America, Americans get out of jail because they're overcrowded because of these ridiculous 3 strikes you're out. They go out, they commit crimes. We don't talk about them.
Yeah, we did. We did yesterday.
Who?
We talked about a guy that was out of jail because of overcrowding.
Yeah,
I did it as a monologue.
He's an illegal immigrant.
No, he was. He was a legal immigrant.
He was illegal.
I mean, no, he was legal.
He was legal.
He was legal.
Okay, whatever.
So, yeah.
Americans who never left this country get out of jail and go out and commit the most horrendous crimes.
But
so
Americans who are in this country who commit a crime aren't given the benefit of being given sanctuary.
No.
I mean,
This is what I said.
That is actually a difference.
What about the American felon? I agree with you.
Listen,
Where's the ACLU to represent American legal felons?
Excuse me, I use sanctuary cities many times myself over my life, and they're very important things. No, I'm looking. Well, not really, but you know, the idea that you know, for all you big, you know, states' rights conservative federalists, now you want to reach into cities.
This is where you're
Wait
right.
a minute, let me finish.
Let me finish here. You're 100% right.
Comrade, let me finish. All right.
Comrade. Now I'm comrade.
You're right.
We're all comrades.
It's spreading.
You put the rad in comrade.
They probably got a microphone right into the big beast. That's the car that Trump drives around in. Our comrade does. And by the way, go ahead, send your tweets in.
Focus. What's the point?
Focus is if you guys keep worrying about what Trump wants to do is essentially do away with the federal system and get into everybody's lives. He starts to take that money. Wait a minute. He starts to take that money away from the cities. Big construction jobs are going to be stopped.
But can I just, you're on the right track for a while. You go, states' rights matters to guys like Trump, people who are, you know, conservatives, libertarians who say small government, and you're right, for things like marijuana laws. They push that right down to the states, saying we're not going to make a federal law. Wait, I'm agreeing with you. I'm trying to agree with you. But then you have to also take it one step further and say, but then federal Greg and Bob should not pay for funding of these laws that are being done at the state level in Colorado or in California. You want to abide by your own laws, that's fine, but pay for your own ideas.
I agree with that. And I said in the beginning this was a terrible situation, and I hate the fact that my tax dollars pay for Republican prisoners who get out.
Okay. You know, it'd be interesting because then we would have sanctuary cities and we could all leave and I could go to a sanctuary city where I don't have to pay taxes.
That's why you're in a sanctuary city.
Am I? Where?
Right here.
No, but I mean for my specific cause. I want a sanctuary city where I can break my laws. I don't want to pay taxes, or maybe I don't want to wear clothes, Bob.
What federal laws do you not want to do not want to comply with? So you're like a federal income tax.
Yeah, it's so arbitrary. You're okay with this one.
Well,
what about others?
I'm not
amount
okay
of money incarcerating illegals that are here in the country that are committing all of these crimes, like one after the next, and all of the lawyers and the fees and everything. It's a tremendous amount of money. Yeah, there's a way to make the prisons not so crowded. They shouldn't be here to begin with.
And the rest of these thugs who are Americans ought to stay in jail.
But it's incredibly fortunate that you don't have to take a train where you run into people who will kill you in a car. You won't be worried when an illegal immigrant kills you, like what happened to this poor guy.
What about that woman that killed her husband and 3 kids? She was American. What happened to her? She went to an insane
This is a ridiculous, absurd argument.
It's like
why? Because she's white and they're brown?
Yes, because yeah, you got me. I'm only focusing on brown crime. How did you get me, Bob?
Name me one of them who hasn't been brown you put up there.
What are you talking about?
Have you put any white guys up there who've gotten out of jail?
We are talking about sanctuary cities in which the sanctuary cities are protecting illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants, I'm sorry, come from certain countries. They're not coming from Scandinavia, Bob. I hate to tell you.
Well, I wish someone would, but you started by talking about this guy who got out and killed, which was wrong.
Thank you for acknowledging that. Well done, Bob.
Now, this is 2 days in a row
that
we have put up, and I understand there's a lot of that among Hispanics, but there's a hell of a lot more whites that commit crimes in this country than there are Hispanics.
Stop.
Yeah, what? Oh, you can prove that's wrong?
I can prove that you are completely right. There are more whites in this country that commit crime than Hispanics. But his
looking at rates.
illegals, rates, commit crime at a higher rate than the rest of the general population
Higher
in
rates
America.
than whites who are on probation?
Calling people racist is the last bastion of a scoundrel, Bob. If you don't have an argument, don't call me a racist.
I did
You
not.
called me a racist
I
for this
did
argument.
not.
Yes, you did.
You're so poor. You did not.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
It's
that
on
was
the
actually
tape.
the implication
I said
of
we
your
put
statement.
brown people up here.
Yes.
Bob, 80% of the illegals in this country come from Mexico and other parts of South America.
And most of the rest of it,
80%.
we don't stop.
What?
Well, no, not 80%. But how many think come across the border?
How many gangs are from Canada? Is MS-13? Is there a Canadian MS-13?
Yeah, there is.
They come down here. They
Justin
The
Bieber.
from Montreal.
Irish gangs in Boston, nobody ever stops them.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Wait, is this
We
like
should.
a-
I guess
But
we
do you
should.
think that they should be given sanctuary?
Who, the Irish gangs?
Yeah.
No, if I were for capital punishment, they should be
But
shot.
that's okay.
What is wrong with you? Now why are you against the Irish? Like, what is your problem?
Bob, we are deporting people back
my
to their
God.
country of
Like,
origin. The
Well,
best we
that's
know.
what
And that
that's what
includes,
Bush and
that
Obama did.
includes illegals from other countries that may not be brown-skinned, as you qualify.
Why don't we end with it? Can we end with a sound on tape from an angel mom from last night named Laura Wilkerson talking about immigration reform?
Exactly.
Without the immigration laws being enforced, this country has run amok. In any way that he does it, there's going to be an inconvenience to people. But for myself, I think if you're not burying your child in the ground and turning around and walking away, it's not an inconvenience that you can't deal with. It's, you know, you don't want to wait till they murder your kid until you say, okay, time out. Now you're in trouble. It's ridiculous. Nobody gets sanctuary from a law. There's nothing I could do and be given sanctuary from it, and there's no reason for anybody else to have that as well.
So that's
No
mother.
murderer gets sanctuary. None.
Well, that's the mother of a child that was murdered by an illegal.
I know, but that was because the police didn't do their job.
Okay. Not the sanctuary city
this,
that allowed them.
This is what we're talking about, Bob. This is a breakdown in the rule of law that should be
So it should be
applied
the cops.
evenly.
For this woman,
Across the board.
the implication of what she said was, you let them in here and they're going to murder your kids.
Okay, well, I
Now,
don't think that's exactly
nobody
what
comes to
you're
the
saying.
sanctuary city with a murder rap and is allowed to have sanctuary. It doesn't exist.
Well, tell the poor family in San Francisco.
Talk to,
Well,
Casey
But
and his family.
Tell the serial killers.
repeat felons
Let's
are
move on.
allowed to get sanctuary status. They may not be murderers at first, but repeat felons may eventually murder somebody.
All right.
I mean,
Let's move on,
I
shall we?
didn't get that you were able to just come to this country and commit a whole bunch of crimes, and then we're supposed to cry for you, and we all of a sudden don't have an obligation to protect the people here in this country that are here lawfully. Outrageous.
Well, we do have a responsibility. We have a responsibility for Irish.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, well, you want the Irish to come and shoot people?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
All
makes
right.
a lot of
Why are you
sense.
picking on the Irish?
Because
Well,
this
because
is a whole
the-
cycle of
Less
ignorance.
controversial topic.
Yes, up ahead.